Welcome to the Alan Gordon Show, starring Tim Drodge, View from the South Stands. What an absolutely great day it is to be a Toronto FC fan today after late, and I mean late, like 20 seconds left in the game, heroics from striker Alan Gordon returning from injury saw TFC secure a valuable, precious away point at the league-leading Los Angeles Galaxy Saturday evening at the Home Depot Center in Los Angeles. The Alan Gordon Show, indeed. Out since the Edmonton game back in the Neutralite Championship over a month ago, and since that time, TFC has been winless. A lot of offensive chances have gone to naught simply because we haven't had the right kind of player up top to actually take advantage of them. Last night we made a few chances. 2 goals result from it, and TFC gets away from Los Angeles with a precious point. But boy, the drama. I don't know what to say in a lot of respects about the drama. I'm at the Duke of Gloucester last night with a lot of my supporter friends. I watched the Canada game at home, went to the Duke to see the TFC game with a lot of my mates later on. And of course, in the second minute, as those of you watching the game probably already know, TFC is down a goal within 2 minutes. Again, it looked like another one of those long nights for Toronto FC away from home, and one of those long nights that they've had in Major League Soccer all this season, I think is very fair to say. Actually, I texted a friend of mine after the second minute of the game, something along the lines of, I'm starting to feel like a masochist cheering for this club because all I seem to be getting is pain and suffering. But TFC kept in it. They kept plugging away. They kept working hard. They kept chasing balls down, and they kept again after that first significant defensive sort of breakdown. Borman was really out of position, and Burchell, I think it was, scored the goal for Los Angeles to give them that early lead. TFC, of course, saw Donnell Henry, a recent academy graduate, into the senior team, make his Major League Soccer senior debut Saturday, paired up with who's probably TFC's 4th choice at center back at the beginning of the season, one Mr. Ty Harden. No Can, of course, out for the season. No Adekora, who didn't make the starting 18. I was told that he may not have even made the flight. I'm not sure. Hopefully he'll be available for selection in Boston when TFC plays the New England Revolution on Wednesday evening, which is going to be, of course, the next game for the Reds until they return home next Saturday and have a tough home tie with the Seattle Sounders. So no Julian de Guzman either. He's, of course, still with the Canadian national team, so that's Jacob Peterson, who's been out with a hamstring injury as well, make his return to the lineup. And we didn't even have Alan Gordon to start the game last night. He was, to the surprise of some of us anyways, at the pub last night, he was actually on the bench to start the game. Again, you don't want to risk a hamstring becoming a major headache or a major problem all season, so I'm sure maybe Vinter maybe didn't want to start him, but probably had plans to bring him on late if the game warranted it, and lo and behold, it did. It was a really nasty tackle on Tony Tchani on his ankle. He had to come out of the game before halftime, and Alan Gordon actually came in and slotted into that central striker role, which he took to great advantage. Midway through the second half, I think in the 67th or 68th minute, on a nice ball through, actually a pretty average a ball in wide from Danley Borman. Really watching the highlights on the TFC website, I was actually really focusing in on what Gordon was doing off the ball. He made a nice loping little sort of run to give himself some casual pace from his defensive pairing. Made a couple of really quick steps, got high, headed the ball into the net, and bang, we're on again, 1-1. And TFC, of course, was very well deserving of that goal away to get him back in the game. They kept plugging away and plugging away and plugging away. Some pretty chippy play from players like David Beckham, who surprisingly is leading all of Major League Soccer this season with 7 yellow cards. Again, some of those, I'm sure, based on the quality of Major League Soccer officiating, can probably be debated. But he's pretty lucky he didn't get a red last night, considering how nasty some of his tackles were. But anyway, back to the game. I think really due to not really to any deficiency in what TFC was doing when it comes to effort, but I think based on sheer quality, LA was able to, early in extra time, I think in the 91st minute, was able to get a ball into Juan Pablo Angel, who actually is a real TFC killer. He scored, I think, 6 or 7 goals against TFC in his history right now. I think he's the guy who scored the most goals against us ever. He pops one in the 91st minute, and again, everybody at the pub just deflates. The whole room kind of goes quiet, and you hear some angry rumblings from a few people. But they didn't put their heads down, did they? They being TFC. They kept plugging away. They kept running off the ball. They kept trying to create some space and some openings. And lo and behold, an opening comes. Alan Gordon on a volley, an absolutely lovely goal, which even though it's not going to be goal of the week, I think Eric Hasley's goal for Vancouver last night is going to be, which is a wonder strike. It's probably going to be goal of the week, but I definitely think that Alan Gordon is going to be nominated for it, and I think he's going to get a few votes for it as well. So he put a ball, a beautiful volley, past the LA keeper, and bang, we're there 2-2. So going back to my text that I sent my friend early on in the game about the masochist, maybe I spoke too soon, and maybe a lot of us are speaking a little too soon when it comes to what's going to happen with Toronto FC between now and the end of the season. I don't hold any delusions that TFC is the best team in Major League Soccer, far from it. But they've shown on the road in Colorado and now in Los Angeles, 2 difficult places to play for different reasons. Colorado, you've got altitude, you've got a big pitch, you've had players playing on 3 days rest, you had a lot of injuries and so on. They were able to gut out a result. Los Angeles last night, same thing. Players going down mid-game, players away on international duty, players hurt, players out for the season. Take your pick. Again, they got out actually a very, very prized point. I think the thing more than anything else that last night might give Toronto FC is a sense of renewed confidence in themselves and in their ability to actually get something from a game or even get something in the face of adversity. This team has faced some adversity this season, and again, the results really speak for themselves. They haven't really done a good job of, sort of putting the adversity behind them and trying to move forward with their own agenda, or using the adversity as a motivator to sort of, get themselves pumped up and get themselves back in the games. There's been a lot of times when they've had efforts. The DC United game, the 6-2 game versus Philly. Take your pick. They've had some pretty bad efforts this season because they didn't really do anything in the face of things not going their way. Last night, it's injury time. That's a bloody heartbreaker, but yet they still plug away and they still find a way to score and get that point. So, in a league like MLS, where TFC is literally, believe it or not, still, even though they've only gotten 2 victories and a ton of draws and some losses, they're still only a few points out of the playoffs, if you can believe it. And I'm not willing to say "Niet Soviet" just yet to their prospects, because last night showed me that they can, from time to time, get points on the road. They've dropped a lot of points at home. But a lot of teams have dropped a lot of points at home this year. There's been a lot of ties. There's been more ties. I think something along the lines of almost 40% of games in Major League Soccer this year are being ended in a draw of some fashion. So I think what that means at the end of the season is that that 40-point sort of threshold for getting into the playoffs is going to be a little lower this year. Plus, you've got 2 extra spots to fill as well. There's going to be 10 spots this year rather than 8 last year. So you've got the possibility still, even though in a lot of respects TFC has sucked this season, they've dropped a lot of points at home. They haven't really done amazingly well on the road. They've gotten some good results lately, albeit, of course. But it's way too early still to write them off. Whether the team is going to be reinforced, I think a center back is going to be coming. I think another striker up top is going to be coming as well. Whether those guys are designated players or of designated player quality or not remains to be seen. But I think with the transfer window opening up momentarily, there's definitely going to be some movement. There's going to be some players coming in. What I'm hoping to see on Wednesday, and what I'm hoping to see on Saturday, and what I'm hoping to see going forward is a little more belief in themselves and in the squad. I think that in parts of that second half last night, TFC looked as good as I've seen them look in a long time. And what I'm hoping to see in New England, a team that has been struggling as well. It's only, I think, a point or two ahead of Toronto FC. It's one of the teams that TFC has to leapfrog to get into the playoffs. I'm a little more optimistic now than I was this time on Saturday, as to TFC's ability to actually go in there and actually get some sort of result, and what the hell, maybe even squeak a win. I don't know. But that remains to be seen. So the club is back in town on Thursday. I'm hopefully going to be getting to training on Friday ahead of the game on Seattle on Saturday. I'll also have, of course, another video blog up on Thursday after the away game in New England on Wednesday. Have yourselves a wonderful week, a great Sunday, and we'll see you guys online and on the blog in the next few days. Thanks again for watching, and we'll talk to you soon. Cheers.